Hard about what you want to be. Step 4. Everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Welcome to Tales from the Field. My name is Bradley Ball, and it is so good to have you with us. Last week we were on vacation, and boy, did we enjoy it. We uploaded a whole bunch of shorts. We created a special little playlist just for you to be able to see a little bit into our lives of what we like to do. We did so many things. So I made deviled eggs, lemon icebox pie, crispy chimichurri potatoes. Neeraj went to Canada. We had Disney on the fireworks on the 4th of July. Dan had a fireworks celebration. Andreas showed his mobile car powered by AI. I shared some moments of Zen and some moments of, or donuts of Zen. And then on Monday, Neeraj presented Microsoft Fabric cost and licensing and provisioning. You don't want to miss a thing. If this is your first time finding it over to our channel, give us a like and give us a subscribe. We are broadcasting right now on the hub of Tales from the Field from our YouTube location. But if you want to interact with us, we are streaming on so many locations to make it easy for you to interact with this channel. We are on Twitter under Josh Ludeman, on Sequel Balls, on Neeraj Jhaveri, under Tales TF the Field. We are also on LinkedIn under Sequel Balls. And of course, the YouTube hub that I already mentioned, broadcasting for you. If you want to interact with this show, just fire off a comment and one of my amazing co-hosts will see that comment. They will add it to the stream. You will be a part of the show. And of course, speaking of those amazing co-hosts, I am joined by Andreas Bedelia, Josh Ludeman, and with the mind of an artist but the body of an Adonis, it is your friend and mine, Neeraj Jhaveri.
Nice.
Andreas, vacation, brother. Wow. Did we have a good time or what?
Oh man, I had enough barbecue to, just clog a colon. So there you go.
I hear you. So speaking of barbecue, let's talk a little bit. So I pictured a lot of stuff that I cooked, but I didn't picture everything. I made some amazing barbecue ribs that everybody just loved. They went nuts for the deviled eggs, but also I made some corn. I slow cooked it with the ribs, and then at the last minute, I fired up the grill to about 500 degrees. And what I did first, though, was I took the corn, I covered it in butter, Lowry's seasoned salt, and my mother-in-law loved it so much that I was going to say, God bless her, she was just raving about it. And so she was like, can I take it home? And I was like, all you want, Judy. It's all yours. Love you. Absolutely.
As long as you keep your mother-in-law happy, that's...
It's funny. I know some folks may have an adversarial relationship, right? But Judy and we bonded very early on, and Sue and I were talking about this. I love Judy so much. So Judy immigrated from Guatemala. She had a very, very hard life growing up as a child. But I don't have my wife. I don't have the love of my life without her. So first off, I think the world of her. She is a hardworking woman, busted her butt for so long. And one of the things I noticed is everybody revered her as the matriarch of the family, right? But nobody played. It's like on our first trip to Disney, I think she was kind of testing me, but we see some little kid acting up, and she's like, Brad, she points at that, and I'm like, you know what that is, Judy? And she goes, what? And I said, that's somebody who doesn't realize how to be able to take their kid and swat them on the butt when they need it. And she laughed. And so for the last time, I was pointing out like little bratty kids, be like, no. And she would just laugh to the point now when we went on a cruise together, I was getting her to have drinks. When she comes over, I mix her drinks. And I remember there was one party we had once where my wife is taking tequila shots with her siblings, and everybody's like, don't tell mom. And I was like, F that, Judy, get over here. Me and you are doing tequila shots. Take that, kids. And I've had my brothers-in-law on more than one occasion go, stop getting my mom drunk. And I'm like, well, you guys need to learn how to play a little bit more. She's fun.
Yeah.
So
everybody loves Judy. Everybody loves Judy.
Yeah, she's amazing. So Josh, how about you? What was some of the food that you had?
So during the break, I was actually moving. So the food I had was packed. So a lot of what I've had is takeout. So I had some really good General Tso's chicken the other night.
I was going to say, I am starving. That sounds so good.
Yeah, I was going to say this weekend I'm replacing my grill, and as part of the move, and so I'm hoping this weekend to do a little bit of get back to just charcoal, possibly if I get the one I'm looking at, and then get back to some good old fashioned grilling and smoking this weekend.
Absolutely. Our good buddy Dan Taylor. So Dan came over and we got to spend some time over the break. We went to Hollywood Studios together. I've got some pictures. I'll have to make a reel off of this, or a short, and post it on the channel, because this explains why I didn't get leftover corn. The ribs were delicious. Yeah, Dan actually got some of the ribs when he came over. Yes, Dan, that is why there was no corn. There's no corn left. As a matter of fact, it was such a hit. That's definitely going on the list next time around. Neeraj, when you come to town, I'm making some slow smoked corn for you.
November.
It's going to be delicious.
Nice.
All right, now we should probably get to why people are here. If you haven't been to the show before, we've had a whole bunch of new subscribers while we were on vacation. One of the things that I want to make sure people understand is we are here to talk about the Azure Data Community, the creators in the Azure Data Community, and the content that they help create. And so to do so, we've all put in specific links. This is going to be our roundtable where we discuss them. I am going to start off with Mr. Neeraj Jhaveri, Microsoft SaaS Decision Tree.
So a nice article I just came across while I was trying to do some research on Fabric. A lot of new SaaS offerings that Microsoft has lately come up with, right? I mean, if you go through the screen, there is now 4 categories of Microsoft, or I would say 4. Yeah, the previous Fabric is a new one. So Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, Power Platform, and now Fabric is the next one of it. What the writer is trying to tell us up here is how or what to use when you are looking for which fabric or which portion to be using in there. He does a good diagram. I mean, the visual diagram, or the mind map that Andreas likes to do it. So that is something that he really brings it up here and shows you up there. The main thing is how you can integrate all of them together, and the Power Platform, that's the key point of it. I mean, a lot of Power Platforms coming in, and then the Microsoft Fabric is describing up what things are in there. Fabric is the latest SaaS offering that Microsoft is coming up, and it's definitely right now the talk of the town.
Excellent. Very, very nice job. And hold on, I'm a little bit off my sheet, but that was by Ian Kosovic. Yeah, great job, Ian. I absolutely love that. That's a fantastic blog entry. And as a quick reminder, all of the links will be in the description of every single roundtable. We do that after the show. So the second this goes live, I've got these links ready. I will post them in the description of the show. So if you're looking to be able to access them, you will be able to. So for me, my first choice is going to be Jovan Popovic. I love Jovan's blogs. He always does such great stuff. And he did a wonderful one to Microsoft Dev Blogs, how to copy data from Azure SQL Managed Instance over to Microsoft Fabric Data Warehouse. And he specifically talks about using an example of the customer orders, going from a managed instance to Azure Storage, and then being able to go from Azure Storage into the Fabric Warehouse to get the data. He's going to use the create external table as select. Now, the last time we were together before the break, I shared a video that Guy in a Cube and our good friend Bob Ward had done. Bob did a similar concept from SQL Server, but this one is specific for SQL Managed Instance. And so this is a lot of fun. He goes through how we enable the export to be able to make sure that we can use create external table as select on a managed instance. And then he walks through what we need to do with the blob store to be able to make sure we have everything in place. Then we can create that external file format and create the external table as select. He walks you through unbelievably with all of these examples. It's really, really great stuff. And then at that point in time, he copies it into our Fabric workspace. So that way we've got our data. I'm going to play around with this. I can't wait to play around with this a little bit more, because you know me, I don't want to just see this from the SQL my point of view. I want to see it from the Fabric point of view. But this is something I already talked with our good friends, Sasha Popovic and Nico Nurembauer over on the SQL in My Product group, and this will be a video that we have coming up for their channel, and also a video that I'm going to do for our channel as well.
I had the same blog as my reserved one, so that's what I added.
Nice. And yeah, this is definitely a good popular blog, Brad, that you brought, because, Dan Taylor's sitting out there
Oh,
and literally was just reading that blog before you presented it. So it's a good choice, sir. Good choice.
I was going to say great stuff. And there's so much new stuff coming out and around. It's wonderful stuff. Talking about wonderful stuff. Next up, I have Mr. Andreas Bedelia with Accelerate Language Cognitive Services Customization with Azure OpenAI. Say that 5 times fast.
Oh, I know. Say that 5 times fast. By Hazem Al-Hamimi, thank you so much. This is not just one wonderful, but 2 wonderfuls. He has 2 great blogs. This is the first one in there. And what he shows us in these.
Oh, and I think we've got a glitch with Andreas. We may have lost him, or is that just
There's a glitch in the matrix.
Oh
no, he's back. He's back.
I'm back. Woo. Okay. Oh, I thought I lost you guys. Woo. There we go. Okay. Keep it going, buddy.
So 2 wonderfuls. What he teaches us here is how to accelerate our labeling if we're using cognitive services. Now, let's say you're creating bots, or you're creating a bot that does, hey, maybe helps me book a flight or request refunds. Now I can create the labeling for that particular, for the conversational language in my cognitive services. I can combine that with OpenAI to help me create utterances. Beautiful. So instead of having me create all the utterances for booking a flight, which means, hey, I need a flight to Rome, or I want a flight to Shanghai, or give me a flight to London, and actually having to do that manually every step, I combine that with OpenAI and it does it for me. Beautiful. I love this. And in his next post, he shows us how to do that with named entity recognition. So if you're doing if you're working on scenarios for maybe scanning PDFs or text documents that have loan information or any legal information, and instead of me having to go in there and label where the loan information, who took out the loan, the date of the loan, and actually scan the document, I can combine that with OpenAI and it can label it all for me. And labeling takes up so much time. So now we'll be able to speed this up and get it out the door a lot quicker. And he shows us how to do this. I think in 30 minutes of you reading this, man, it'll make your life so much easier. Thank you for this, SM.
Yeah, thank you. That is fantastic. I love it. And speaking of things I love Rob Selwell, and I love Josh Ludeman. And Josh has Rob's blog on, congratulations on your MVP award.
Yeah, I figured. So when I came across this blog from Rob, there's not, if you're coming to this blog, this specific entry looking for a boatload of technical content, this isn't the one. But I felt it important because while we were out on break here at the show, the Microsoft MVP program renewals went out on July 1st, as they do. And this was just a blog Rob, wrote to celebrate him getting renewed and what did he do last year and things like that, talking about his gratefulness. And honestly, I wanted to highlight here, thank you to those who have been renewed MVPs, those who are new MVPs, those who are former MVPs, but everybody really putting in the effort or have put in effort to help bolster the data community that we're all a part of.
Yeah, and I love this suit. I got to see Rob in this suit at SQL Bits. So Rob is a fantastic speaker. He's a wonderful member of the community. There are so many wonderful members of the community, Josh. You're absolutely right. And one of the things they do is they go out and they talk about Microsoft products. They help us understand how to be able to just use this stuff. I was an MVP before I joined Microsoft. And I got to tell you, I don't know that there's a magic formula to be able to say, here's what you got to do, other than you create impact. You go, you present, you answer questions, you show that, what you're doing helps move the needle and helps people grow and learn and adopt technologies. And that gets you in. And also it just makes a difference being a part of that community. Because there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot of unsung heroes out there and a lot of people who do a lot of effort. And the SQL Bits conference is just one of the most incredible, magical conferences that you'll ever go to. It's it was just one of the best. As a matter of fact, I know we're all eagerly awaiting when the call for speakers will open up for that, because it's a wonderful place to be. But great job, Rob. Love that you had that, Josh. And again, I guess, talking about love, here we go. Neeraj and Fabric, just showing the love all over the place. Neeraj, you've got table clone and warehouse with Microsoft Fabric.
So this is a great article by Ambika Jagdish. She's the one of the PGs of up there on the data clone side of it. Table clone or zero copy clone, what they are saying it up is basically it's not really copying the data. It's basically cloning the metadata part of it. The data still remains in the one storage only, and she's also defined the use cases on it. So she's giving different use cases that would require this to be happening in there. This is definitely a good feature to have, just because you're not paying extra for the storage, right? I mean, in the past you would have to copy the data and then pay for the storage, move the data from here there. The integrity between the data would go away. In this scenario, your integrity remains the same, right? I mean, you do not have different data showing in different storage accounts. This definitely is going to help you a lot in that part of it. And then this shows, yes, Brad, that's exactly how she's showing how to do the data table clone in the thing. The PGs ask from our side is people can play around with this, give us a feedback, and we are looking for feedbacks for this. I just had one of the customer, and Brad, you also had one of their customer who was asked to check it out, and he was pretty happy on what table clone could do it.
Well, and it's amazing, right? Because even though it's metadata, it's still tracking it at that level. So I'm creating two separate sets of the data. And I love that, because new inserts that go into my old table are not going to be cloned into the new table. It is its own separate thing if I put new things into the clone. But if I want to clone it out and say, I want to use this for machine learning, I want to use this as a secondary data source for something else, or I want to do this in some type of development, deployment, testing, I can do all of that, not impact what my main data warehouse is, also without the expense of the duplication of storage. But if I need to make those changes, I can make those changes and I can play around with it. It's a complete separate viable moving forward clone that we have, but it's super quick because it's metadata pointers underneath the covers. Really cool stuff. So I'm up next, and what I'm also talking Fabric on by Guy Reggiano, from raw data to insights, how to ingest data from Azure Event Hubs into KQL databases for powerful analytics. Andreas, I was totally thinking of you as I was reading this. My buddy Andreas is going to love this, because he loves being able to use Event Hubs, and he loves streaming analytics, and he loves IoT and things of that nature. And what better place to be able to do that than to insert this in a KQL database where you can have, hundreds of gigs, terabytes of transactions, live streaming through this, and it performs so fast, bringing things back in seconds. And so he walks us through creating an Event Hub, utilizing that Event Hub, having the data, getting that format into Fabric, and but also how you can use that. And what's even better, there's a video that you can go through to be able to show a wonderful example of this. So if you are looking at live streaming, we just did a big Reactor event. We had almost 300 people live on with us for that event. And one of the questions was someone specifically looking at how they did live streaming data and analytics. Here's a great video and a great tutorial for you to be able to walk through. Really, really great stuff from Guy. And again, speaking of great stuff, I'm going to hop right back over to Andreas Padilla. Andreas, you got customized Azure ML Ops pipelines for deep learning models part 1.
Oh, thank you. This is and I've spoken about ML Ops before on our show. The reason I bring up this great post by Sarisha is that it's one of the better ones that I've seen out there to explain what is ML Ops. And when I stumble upon a great post and there's a difference of how some authors, communicate some of these technologies. She communicates it so easily and so nicely, and it's so consumable that you understand in 7 minutes, 10 minutes, what ML Ops is, all the different components that are in there, what compute targets are. She explains about the whole end-to-end pipeline, how your ML workspace works into the mix. where the experiment comes into play, how to create your data set. It's just a nicely written ML Ops article, and it's one of the better ones that I've seen out there that will definitely kickstart you, and it has an end-to-end sample for you that will get you going. So if I put my money where to start learning ML Ops, go to this article.
Great stuff. And I love it. And she's got a 3-part series. She breaks down what's in each part in the beginning. So that way you can continue to go through this series. And I love it that she breaks it down. It is expertise to make the complex simple. And she does it in spades. Wonderful, wonderful job. Speaking of a wonderful job, we've got Mr. Josh Ludeman with leveraging Azure Secure Enclaves for controlled data environments.
Yeah, and so for this, this is just a good quick blog and an overview of really what secure enclaves are and why and when you would need them. For me, it was a post I referred to because secure enclaves came up in a meeting recently, and I really didn't have the ins and outs, of why you would use that versus something else, a different, regular cloud environment, or in this case, a specific gov cloud environment. This article does a great job of helping you to understand the right situations to add that, the benefits that come with it, and even highlight some of the gotchas. So for me, it was just, again, another, a quick information to give me at least a good 150 level of what is this. So definitely a good one to check out.
Absolutely. And I should have scrolled down a little bit more. Look at this great diagram, really breaking this down between SaaS, PaaS, IaaS, and on-prem via the responsibility types to understand what is Microsoft's responsibility, what is the customer, where do we have this shared, to be able to see how that breakdown goes. Great stuff. And that was by Jason Griffin. Very nice work, Jason. All right. Speaking of, and I love this subject because this is near and dear to all of our hearts, just coming back from it. Neeraj, you have why taking vacation time could save your life by Caroline Castriano. Castriano?
I think
I think it's Castriano.
So this article, it's a little bit old article, but my daughter brought it up because as soon as I was on the plane, I was like replying some emails and all of them, and she's like, "You're on vacation. You should just stop it. Just be on vacation." So, but great article where she is describing why a vacation is needed, I see the reaction also, right? I mean, all the vacation stuff while tales from the field, while away from the field, we got a lot of views. People liked whatever we are doing it, so that makes completely sense on it. But she gives you a couple of things, right? I mean, increases mindfulness. It increases your improves your health conditions. I mean, you're with your family or you're with your friends and friends. It definitely reduces your stress, right? I mean, you're just enjoying doing nothing, thinking of work is your last priority on it, and definitely this would shows you what needs to be done on your vacation and how this is going to help you out to improve your life. So definitely a good article that she brought it up for me. She's like, read it, and that would help you out to understand why you should take vacation often. I mean, there are people who don't take vacations, or they are just not afraid. I mean, just workaholic and forget to take vacations.
So your daughter that was reminding you not to be on email. What's her name? Neeraj, your daughter, Sora.
Can you hear me? Soha.
Yeah.
Soha.
Yep. Sora. I was going to say.
Yep.
Sora, great job being on your dad and make sure he relaxes. He's a very integral part of the team, and without him relaxing, nobody wants to deal with an angry Neeraj.
Well, and frankly, I unmuted to say I think we all can do a better job about taking vacations. I mean, even me taking off a couple of days to do the move and stuff like that, I was stressing about just taking off that time, and I should have just taken it right off the bat, and I think we can all learn a little bit from Soa.
It's worth a bigger discussion too, right? Because you guys know me, I was completely burned out walking into this vacation. I am so energized to do so many different things. I think I dreaded on Monday walking back into my office, as much as I love my office, just because I was so relaxed and I was so happy to be able to just be away. Speaking of, the Powerball lottery is up to $745 million, so we all need to be playing. Yeah, I will do this show full time if I
Is it
retire rich.
nitpicking to say I need another 5 million in there before I start jumping in and going crazy?
I got to tell you, I'm willing to take. I don't need that much, right? 50 million, I'm good. 50 million, I think that covers me
I'll
for the
take the
rest of my
remaining.
life and my kids. Yeah, I can figure out how to manage. I'm figuring out how to manage. I'm up next with Matthew Roche. Matthew Roche, SSIS or SS bipolar. He's also a principal program manager for the Fabric Cat team. One heck of a great mind. And he has a wonderful blog, Why Your Governance Team Should Be Excited About Microsoft Fabric. And a lot of this came from a wonderful question off of Mastodon from another SQL community member, Dave Mason. And it was a wonderful thing saying, hey, I'm looking at this and I'd really like to understand what's the compelling reason for data governance. And that's one of the things that Matthew goes into. He talks about how Purview is built into this, how increasingly that we're going to find the lineage and the capability to classify data is incredibly important. There's a lot of wonderful things that he covers. I'd encourage you to go and look at this, but I'd also encourage you that as Fabric goes along, understand that more and more will be coming out. They have weekly releases. Some of the blogs that we captured this week were actually from the Fabric Product Group blog, where they are right now blogging out at service level what those weekly releases are. So a lot of great stuff, a lot of reasons for people to be excited about this. Another reason to be excited is up next, we have Mr. Andreas Bedelia, and he has how GPT models work accessibly to everyone.
Thanks, Bea, for this great article. I really appreciate you putting this on our doorstep. In this article, she talks to us about where these language models came from, and she paints the picture a little bit better for us around how tokenization works, why OpenAI set up their tokenization the way they did, how tokens equal to characters and words. She does a great job of introducing those concepts to us. And she also, if you go down in the article, she gives us a brief history of how these generative language models evolved and what currently OpenAI and ChatGPT, what models they're using. But then she ends it off, and I love the way she ends off this article by explaining to us what the different models have. Like, for instance, GPT 3.5 is a completion style model. ChatGPT is a conversational style model. And GPT-4 is both a completion and conversation model. These are things you're going to want to know about so you understand which ones are better for different scenarios, conversational or completion, chatbots, maybe looking up, searching documents, etc., etc. It's good that you know those little underlying nuances when building applications. Thank you, Bale, for putting this out.
Yeah, thank you so much. As a matter of fact, I was actually working on a demo. I was working on a lab that on one of the Langchan websites, and they were specifically using tokenization and tokenizing large text formats to pass through. And I realized I didn't fully understand tokenization, and so it was something that I started doing some reading on. This is a great article that really breaks this down beautifully, which is a key thing to understand when you're taking those large language text and putting it through to have it analyzed to make sure that we don't exceed what the token values are, but we've also broken things up into the proper level of tokens. I also love how it ties together why ChatGPT-4 is so impressive by pulling those two GPT functionalities together into one place. It's Andreas, really, really nice call. As a matter of fact, didn't close that. Drag that over to the other window because as soon as we're done, I'm reading that one. Speaking of the great stuff that I still have remaining open, we've got Mr. Josh Ludeman, who is last but certainly not least with how you unlock insights with Azure PlayFab and Databricks for game analytics.
So yeah, actually, so just for folks who aren't aware, Azure PlayFab is really like a foundational framework for building and running games in the cloud, right? It's based off of, and I believe it's one of the services that kind of came out of things that we built, for the Xbox platform and other things. But it really gives the live operations for the back end events, online player accounts, multiplayer servers, matchmaking. It's an entire platform for doing all that. And so, what Frank Levine does in this great video is he actually walks through using Databricks to pull all of those events and all that information out of Azure PlayFab and start doing some analytics on that data. Because, like a lot of services, PlayFab has some good, basic analytics that you can get, and actually see what's going on, number of events and things like that. But what he does is actually connect Databricks to it, so you can actually do some deeper analytics on it, and machine learning. Frank's one of our is an Azure AI and machine learning technical seller and things like that. So a lot of great background in it, but a lot of great information in here on how to use Databricks to that extent.
Nice.
It's a great article.
Fantastic stuff. All right, so that is everything for our links this week. I will have those as soon as this is over. I will put those in the description. A couple things that we want to plug real quick. I have a presentation I believe I'm doing this week for the Austin SQL Server user group. I will have a meetup that I share on Threads as well as on Twitter. If you're on Threads, I'm over there as SQL Balls. Josh, you're there as Josh Ludeman. And we will shortly have a Tales from the Field account. I just haven't had time to be able to set that up. Also, another reminder, we are speaking at Data Driven. Who all got selections? Raj, I know you've got one. Andreas, you've got one.
Yep.
Josh?
Yeah, well,
And
you and
me
I
too.
are doing a session, Brad. Yeah, that's how I got in. You and I are doing a session.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to double check what sessions I've got. Are you doing the top 5 things for SQL Managed Instance with me, or is it a different session?
It's the SQL Managed Instance one, I believe.
Okay. I was going to say I submitted so many to them. I couldn't remember which ones you and I were partnered on. I'll be honest. There's an open AI presentation that I'm doing for Austin that I really want to end up doing again for a conference. So I'm hoping somebody picks that up. But we're playing around with OpenAI and SQL Managed Instance even more than we did in the video, and maybe I'll make some follow-up videos off that as well. Also, if you're making plans, look at November and mark down the week before Thanksgiving, because there is only one place you want to be, and it is in Orlando, Florida, at the Give It To Me Quick, just the
beautiful Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort on the picturesque grounds of Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida.
I can't wait for it. Myself, Josh Ludeman, Neeraj Jhaveri, and Buck Woody, we are delivering a full-day pre-con for Microsoft Fabric. So if you are looking to get more hands-on with Microsoft Fabric, do it the week before Thanksgiving in one of the best locations on the planet. Bring your family. You're going to stay at a world-class resort. You've got theme parks right behind you that you can go to after you are finished being at the sessions for the day. Your family can go and have a great time. You will be wonderful, happy, and relaxed going into that week of Thanksgiving, where it's always a little more stressful and you're preparing food and things of that nature. So come and have a great time with us down at Live 360.
Well, in what better way to give thanks than to give thanks for all that wonderful Fabric knowledge?
Absolutely. Well,
Yep.
and the thing I love, the thing that you can be thankful for is it's already decorated for Christmas.
Yep.
They're going to have a gingerbread tree house up at the Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort. There's a train that goes around it. It's gorgeous. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. I can, as a matter of fact, I could close my eyes and I'm right there. It's going to be beautiful. This week, we're going to have more content that drops. I'm going to be dropping a video on Wednesday. What's it going to be on? Well, you're just going to have to like and subscribe to check out, or visit the channel if you're not liked and subscribed. Remember, every Tuesday we have our roundtable. If you are a creator in the community, we want to hear from you. What are the blogs you're writing? What are the videos you're making? We'd love to feature you on here and make sure that we give you a shout out. There's a story in every single one of you, and you are going strong, and we really appreciate you and the work that you do out there in that community. To all of our folks who were awarded MVPs, and even if you weren't awarded as an MVP, thank you for everything you're doing. It's a tremendous task and a lot of free technology thought and growth that is given to people. And we appreciate every single one of you. Anything else, guys?
No, just Live 360, throwing the AKA link up there.
You got it. All right. Take care, everybody. We will see you next week.
Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.